poppin', everybody? Hello and welcome to Popcorn Culture. My name is Ben Carlin and I am your host. Here with me today is my brother Jay, who will be in every episode.
The one true plush host, as I am known in the comfier corners of the internet and the listening audience.
You do love beanbag chairs.
You know what is hilarious about the beanbag chair joke is that you were the one who bought jumbo wumbo posh beanbag chairs as furniture, as your like actual furniture for a while in college.
This is true. This is true. I became like, I think we've talked about it a little bit before, but I came like slightly wildly addicted to this is not sponsored, but the like Lovesac brand.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's one of those things where for some reason it is like immensely compelling to me. Like, and I honestly cannot tell you why.
Yeah.
Like it's true. Like I made the joke that like you love beanbag chairs and I love that everybody bought into it. But like just for Alice's birthday a few weeks ago, we went to Tyson's Corner Mall in Washington, D.C. and they have a Lovesac store. And I went in and like literally while we were there, I was like, man, where could we use one of these in our house? Like I was like, again, I'm
not sold.
I'm not over it. Like I still like, they are super comfortable. The only thing I would say is that like I wanted to go big, you know, so I had like the super sack. So it's not like they have like an even bigger one. Yeah, that's like really, really large. But yeah, so I had two super sacks for my living room furniture in college and then the beginning of the time that we lived together.
Yeah.
But I feel like now I would be much more on board with like a smaller one so that like if I had friends over and they're like sitting in my living room, there's the ability to like, you know, like my sectional couch and then like you could like plop down on that as like a piece of sort of like auxiliary furniture, as it were.
I'm imagining right now as we think about it that like right now in Luke's room, I have this sort of like extra wide rocking chair that we use for like reading books and stuff, which is good because we, you know, people can, me and Luke can sit on it comfortably.
Sure.
No squeezing or like no one needs to be on anyone's lap or anything. But I imagine at some point that will get retired, and that would maybe be a great location for a big Lovesac situation.
Yeah.
That could be very fun.
Oh, I would be so excited. I would be so excited. I bet Luke would love it.
I bet I mean, it's hard not to, especially when you're a kid, because it's just a big, fun thing to jump into.
It's true.
It's a very good place to read. And I feel like kids would not get uncomfortable sitting in it the way that adults do. Right. Because they don't weigh enough to like force the innards around.
Start
enough.
To compact
it.
Well, I have to tell you, I have such a funny story about exactly that. And then we'll get back to something I actually wanted to talk about. But my brief aside here is going to be that in college, my senior year, I was having a party. And at this point in time, I had bought one of the Lovesacks and it was in the corner. And then next to it was like just like your very basic like microfiber couch, you know, like the really standard, you know, just it's almost like fake fabric is like the only, it's not like pleather. It's not even attempting to imitate leather. It's just fake material.
Right.
You know,
plastic.
So, yeah, it was a very inexpensive couch. But we were having this one party and it was like, as we were kind of getting to know like the other people who lived in our building. And so like some of the neighbors who we didn't know super well had sort of like migrated in to hang out and chat and just sort of get to know one another. And during this, we're, of course, you know, having a hooting and hollering good time.
Of course.
And so we are doing like front flips into the Lovesac because it's basically just like a great big landing zone. And it was like, oh my God, how much fun. And then one of the neighbors walks in and sees us doing this. And we're like, oh man, take a turn at it. And I think that he just didn't understand in a way that like I can't comprehend. But he went and bigger guy, like not like he was like 6'4", 6'5", like bigger, like person.
Really tall.
Yeah. Structurally. And he sprints in and does a front flip onto the couch.
Right.
Like not onto the giant like floofy.
Right. Like didn't understand what you were doing, was taking advantage of the floof factor of the Lovesac. Just was like, y'all are just doing front flips onto furniture. I get it.
Yes. And so so he goes right into the couch. The couch supports, which again, it was an inexpensive couch, just broke and then shot through the wall.
Wow.
Like the wood beam that like was holding everything like sheared free, and I guess the couch twisted enough. Yeah, so it broke the couch and put a hole in the wall in one fell swoop. And it was just it wasn't the best.
Not the best.
But it was my first foray into drywall repair.
Yeah. Now you're out your couch and your security deposit.
Which when you go to college, you're not getting your security
Just
deposit
forget
back
about
anyway.
it. You're not getting it.
I feel like people used to get so, like all of my fellow classmates would get so upset about the security deposits. And I get it. I mean, it's a lot of money to like, especially at that age to like put together, to put down. But I don't think I ever heard of a single instance of any of my friends, regardless of what their like college going behaviors were like, ever getting their security deposit back.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe there are some people out there who were just like extremely meticulous, but yeah, no, I didn't see it. Anyway, we were talking about plushes.
We were talking about plushes. We immediately got sidetracked.
As we do.
Yeah.
As we do. I mean, it's sort of like the MO for this particular show. But the exciting news in the plush front is that if you support us on Patreon at the exclusive merchandise tier, we finally have the One True Host plushies that have been manufactured.
The One True Host trophy plushies.
Yes.
If you're watching, you can see me holding it right now.
Yes.
If not, imagine a bucket of popcorn, but it's plushy.
Yes, and it has like a little placard at the bottom that says
the One True Host.
Yes. So they have been made. It took longer than expected, which is good news, honestly, because so many people signed up for it that they were the company that we were working with was overwhelmed.
Yeah, basically I think they're like a novelty company where you can like send them a picture of your dog or whatever the item may be,
right.
And they'll be like, "Great, we made a plush out of it. Here you go. We made that one plushie out of it." And we were like, "Can we have way, way, way more than one?"
Yes,
and they were like, "Well, obviously we have to say yes. That's just good business, but this is going to take a while."
Yep, and that's exactly what happened. Yeah, so otherwise it's great. Yeah, if you have like a dog or something, you want to like give it to like a family member as a Christmas gift.
Yeah, you want like a one-off plush. That's great.
Very quick turnaround, no big deal.
Yeah.
If you want many of them, different story.
Yep.
Anyway, so those are available. Also, we want to take a moment just to describe the Q3 and Q4 quarterly merch items in case you do want to support us on this tier over on Patreon.
Yes.
Q3, because the trophies took so long, is almost over. So we're actually going to extend the sign-up deadline to October 15th when it would typically be September 30th. So there'll be basically a couple extra Fridays available to sign up at this tier. What we did, though, is really cool. I'm very excited about this particular item.
It's pretty cool.
Hello, friends. Jay and Ben are about to think they're using the right word. Like in so many other instances, they are not. The word they'll use is lithograph, which is an ancient printmaking process where inks are affixed to stones and paper prints are made from those stones. The word they mean is litograph, which is the process of taking the words from a noteworthy text and converting them into adjoining merchandise. We hope this is able to clear up any confusion resulting, and enjoy the rest of your day at Popcorn Culture. Pop, pop.
It's a lithograph of the Element of Surprise episode of the Pop, which is basically the entire like text of everything we said in the entire episode.
Like if you had the closed captions of the episode, like the full script of everything we said, not that this is scripted in any way at all.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
We got that all on one big document, and then you can go to like a lithograph website, and you can cut a shape out of it, and it'll like move the words around so all the words are still there.
Right. All the words are still intact.
Right. So what we're going to have is a hoodie that on it has all of the words from the episode, The Element of Surprise.
Yes.
That episode of the Pop. And they will be spaced such that the words pop, pop are visible in huge font on the front.
Yes, like so it's basically like all of the text will be like the color, and then the negative space will spell the words pop pop.
That was a much better way to say it. The negative space will say pop pop on the front of the hoodie.
are going to look so cool.
It looks pretty cool. If you don't, yeah, it's pretty awesome. I'm so excited about that.
Yes, the mock-ups are looking incredible so far. Hopefully by the time you're hearing this, we'll be able to share that with you.
Yeah.
But also we always use like super soft, very high quality hoodies. So if you are excited about this tier and you're already at the $25 tier, then you're just already
getting one.
Yeah, and if not, and you feel like signing up, you have until October 15th to get in on the hoodie. And then additionally, starting on October 1st, you will be qualified for the Q4 piece of merch,
yes,
which is also awesome.
Yes, it is.
Of course, we're biased, but what we're going to be doing for Q4 is actually recording a special episode of the pod.
An exclusive episode.
Exclusive.
Yeah.
Which will only be available in this one particular way, which is a pressed vinyl record.
That's right. We are making a record.
We're making a record?
We're making a record, like a real vinyl record that you can get and listen to an exclusive episode of the Pop On.
It's going to be extremely cool, and the vinyl itself is glow in the dark.
Glow in the dark!
How cool is that?
Being able to do it in the dark. I'm excited for it because my expectation is that people don't have record players.
Sure.
Which I'm sure some of you do. And the good news about having a record is that so often it's much more just about having it in the cool, vinyl artwork.
Yes.
Whatever.
And there's cool ways to display vinyl.
And there's cool ways to display vinyl. And I think just having records is cool. I don't own a single record.
Oh, I have many records.
Oh, you do?
I do. And none of them are like from like old, like, from when like records came out. They're all like, like the Frozen 2 soundtrack.
Right. Of course. Yeah. They're like modern day records.
Modern day records.
Yeah.
But Allie and I, that is like in our main like living space. We don't have like an Alexa or like a smart home device or whatever. We literally have a record player. And every morning when we get up, we put on a record and like that's like what's playing as we're drinking coffee and getting ready and moseying.
That's so
about the
fun.
house.
Do you think it sounds better than other forms of audio?
Dude, I don't want to be that guy, but I actually do. Like I actually do, because the speakers that I have playing it are like, they were like $49 like Amazon choice, like computer speakers. Like they are not in any way intended to be like a high quality like audio experience.
Yeah.
And it's still like, it fills the room in such a like I can't even describe it. It's like the noise literally finds the entire space of the room coming out of these. Like, I mean, and I kid you not. I mean, they're like, if you take your index, like your pointer finger, and like stretch it as far apart from your thumb as you possibly can.
Yeah.
They're like that big. Like, and there is a small, like adjoining subwoofer that goes with it. But
okay.
I mean, they're not nice speakers, and you can hear it from the whole bottom of the house.
And you think this is a function of the vinyl, not the speakers?
I do think it is, because as computer speakers, I found them to be underwhelming. And I don't know if somebody can explain this to me, or like if somehow the analog sound, I believe analog sound is supposed to be better than digital sound because it's like a more robust audio wave, maybe, possibly. I am now venturing into waters that I don't fully understand.
Yeah, I'm not an audiophile myself either, so I couldn't really tell you.
Yeah. So anyway, if you guys would like to get on this specific piece of exclusive merch, anytime between October 1st and December 31st is the window for that order space.
Yeah, and then it will ship in the new year.
In the new year. Yep, exactly. So if you want to support us, you can do so at patreon.com/popcornculture.
Yes, that's where you go to sign up. But I believe it's the jazziest J tier that you're going to want to sign up for.
Buzziest B.
Jazziest J.
The buzziest B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do think it's going to be fun though, because just to answer your question, listening wherever you are right now, there will not be like an accompanying
Digital.
MP3
digital
version. It will only exist
as
on
a
vinyl.
Yep.
So you might need it's like an opportunity to find your friend who has a record player and listen together with them.
It's also kind of interesting because it means like this is like about as arrogant and big-headed as I am capable of being, and it's about to come out. Okay. It's like the idea that there's like such a limited quantity and limited availability for this one specific episode that like if sometime in the future we become, a big deal at any point in time, like and there are like Carlin Brothers collector's items.
Oh.
You know, it's like this, it's like there will be such a small number of them.
Right.
Well, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Like this would be like because whenever you're looking at collectibles, I always think about this. Like why is it like our parents' toys were collectibles, but like our toys as kids weren't? And it's because by the time we were kids, they were mass produced. But when they were kids, there were actually like finite numbers.
Right. Like merchandising was just not the thing it is today.
Exactly. Yeah. So like if you had like our dad had what was it, the Sugar Caddy?
The Sugar Cat, that was like the Hot Wheels car.
Yeah, like a specific Hot Wheels car. And I think this like one specific Hot Wheels car is actually like worth like not like a huge amount of money, but like hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
You know, and that's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, he still has that one.
He does still have that
Yeah.
one. He does, yes. It's really cool. It's a red line.
It's a red line. Man, that's like one of those things that's like, oh yeah, like that growing up because we collected Hot Wheels so much. We know like a lot of the vernacular of Hot Wheels stuff. And
we do.
We do. And so like I remember being in the store one day and we were like looking at Hot Wheels and there was like the Hot Wheels is trying to do this thing where they like recreate vintage Hot Wheels cars and sell them in modern day packaging. And part of me is like, I that's fun, but part of me is also like I hate it. Why would I want a modern day like recreation? I just want the actual old one. I don't want a reprint.
That is exactly how I felt.
Yeah.
Like I feel like, and this is probably one of those things where as like, 8-9-year-old kids, we were like way too savvy. It was like, this is not a red line. What do you like? You can't just slap red paint onto wheels on a modern day car and call it a red line. You can't just do that.
Yeah,
like
no.
this is not the same. And it was like we were being like very very like pretentious about it as kids. Yeah, as it were. But no, I do remember feeling that exact same way. It's like this doesn't count.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah. Well, I remember Beth asking like, why does it have red lines? Like, why is the red on the wheels? And I was like, I got you covered. I know this.
Do you have a moment?
Let me tell you about the history of Hot Wheels.
Which is actually, I feel like you had a class, was it like in 6th grade?
It was in 6th grade. There was a big history project every year for my team, as it were, the investigators. So everyone on our team, that section of the 6th grade, had to do a big history project, and it was just you had to come up with a presentation for the history of fill in the blank, and you got to choose whatever thing you wanted to do to learn the history of and then present it to the class. And you could do however you wanted to do it, whether you just wanted to go up and give a speech, or you like made a movie or did a PowerPoint presentation. I would say without doubt 95% of people do PowerPoint presentations because it's just absolutely the easiest thing, especially when you're in 6th grade. And especially because when I was in 6th grade, video editing software was not something you had on computers. It meant having special editing equipment with like different VCRs. We had to put in and out points, and
Yeah, I mean, it was the type of thing that the reason you had access to it is because our dad was working at a local TV news station, and literally like they had like a room, that like
they had like edit bays. Yeah. So anyway, I did the history of Hot Wheels.
You did.
For 6th grade, and sure enough, we made a video. We went home, we filmed lots of it because we did lots of Hot Wheels races when we were kids.
A bunch.
Like a bunch. I cannot wait for Luke and Nick and Nate to be the age where they are really, really concerned about which Hot Wheels car we own moves the fastest.
Yes.
Like
and
it's important.
Oh yeah.
It's coming. And like right now, sometimes I'll try and be like, is today that? I'd be like, Luke, we should race them. And we'll put dude down the track and he'll be like, whatever, it's what was exciting is that 2 were going, not that 1 won or that 1 was faster.
I see. Well, it's coming.
It's coming. It's gonna find it. We'll get there, and I can't wait. It'll be fantastic because we have tons of Hot Wheels cards, including most of our old ones.
So the thing that I remember the most about this particular thing is that and correct me if I'm wrong, but there used to be like specialty sets of Hot Wheels cars that would come out. So like, for example, I think at one point in time there was like cars that were themed like candy bars, and there was like a little
Sugar Rush.
Yeah. So it was like a little like Reese's, a Hershey's, a Crunch, and a Butterfinger.
Yep.
I think were the 4. And I believe that you could take the back of each of those 4 if you collected all 4. And typically I think one of them was just like a little bit rarer than the other.
It was hard to like find all 4 of the set.
Yeah, exactly. But then if you were to mail in the backs, the cardboard backings to Hot Wheels, they would then mail you back a mystery car.
Yes, I think you're almost correct.
Okay.
I think you needed 4 complete sets.
4 complete
You needed
sets?
4 complete sets to get the mystery car.
Oh, but so...
Which
what?
To clear things up, that meant, and I will tell you that we successfully did this several times for me and Ben and Tyler. So like, and I think there was a new mystery car each quarter.
Okay.
So there would have been 4 throughout the year. And I think that because on the ones we have, it says like Q2 or it has like a 2 on it and like a 4 on it.
You're right.
Yeah. So I think they were like sort of counting. They themselves formed a set, and there was a theme to the mystery cars. They were all like black and gold and stuff, and they had like a cool look to them.
They did. Yeah, they always looked really
But I'm
neat.
pretty sure you needed 4 sets of 4 cars to get the mystery car, which sounds like a lot. But it's like $16, I guess, is ultimately what you're doing. But what it means is that we had to have 12 sets of cars for all 3 of us to get the mystery car.
Which is unreal.
It's a lot.
I mean, it goes to show how many Hot Wheels cars we had at home.
We have a lot.
But the point is that I feel like if there is something that, like, you know, having fast forwarded 20 years into the future, 20 plus years into the future, it feels like the mystery cars would be inside of that like category of like maybe worth something. Maybe
it's you're right. It's possible, but at the same time, I remember they didn't come in boxes.
No, they didn't.
Because if they came in like regular Hot Wheels like blister packs, I doubt we would have opened them because we could have
recognized the value.
Like, even we as 10-year-olds could have recognized that these were harder to get and like obviously rare. They just came in like just a regular card. Like, I mean, it came in like a just sealed
plastic bag.
Yeah, it was not fancy at all. There was no like presentation to it whatsoever.
Right. So it was kind of odd that they had gone to the lengths to provide this special opportunity and then kind of like stopped short of then like having the artwork made or something. Like, it almost feels like this is the type of thing where you're getting like a glimpse into how like a corporation works, and there's like one group of people in manufacturing that's like, hey guys, great idea, we'll like use this old car model that we didn't end up using, we'll slap a different paint color on it, we'll put some cool wheels on it, and we'll just send it out to these kids to make their day. And then like over in marketing, where you had like the people who were like in charge of like designing like the actual box design and stuff, were like, no guys, we're not gonna put artists on making mystery car backings.
I feel like this is the exact opposite.
Oh, like you think
like
manufacturing...
marketing was like, fantastic idea. This will be a way to sell 16 cars and give someone one. That means they're paying $16 to get a single car. Plus they have to collect lots of different cars. They have to come back. It'll be great. And they were like,
your logic works better.
Yeah. And they pitched it, and someone in the meeting was like, yes, fantastic idea. I love it. You're promoted, Bob. Manufacturing. Someone over here, you're going to be in charge of mailing those out. And they were like, looking over at marketing like, you just gave me so much. You know, I'm going to have to double check every envelope that comes in for 16 unique UPCs.
It's a very manual job. It's a very manual job.
Someone was staring at Bob like, I cannot, okay, I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to like it. And it's going to be at the bottom of my to-do list. And when those kids get them, whatever, fine.
Right. Yeah. And I will say it did seem like it took forever to get them. Like almost to the point where it was like, I forgot that we did it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh yeah. That could just be how time moves as like a 7-year-old.
Plus shipping was not what it was today. And I assume there must have been like an end period to sending in the UPCs on the back.
Right.
You know.
Oh, true.
You know, like I had to wait for the quarter to. It's very similar to the Patreon. Like you had to wait for the quarter to end and then collect them all and then mail them out.
Oh,
yeah.
Man, I can understand some fury here.
Yeah.
No,
plus then you had to deal with like 1995 shipping times, which were significantly longer than today.
Oh my gosh, I remember. Yeah, like when I was in 9th grade, I was given like a laptop by the school, not me specifically, like as like anything special. My whole class got them. And I remember, so like it was kind of like, this was the first time ever that I had access to my own computer. Like I could go into my room and
play Diablo 2.
Like I could have access to a computer on my own. And it was kind of like one of these, like, it was like, this is so much better than trying to compete with 5 other people to get like your 15 minutes on the computer. And then if your 15 minutes started and mom needed to like do something much more important, it was like you were booted.
Yeah.
And there was no justification. I mean, nothing against mom. It's just like, I don't think that she was that bought into making sure everybody got a fair amount of time on the computer so much as just like,
Right. Yeah. Not her concern.
exactly. She needed to actually do something important. But by the end of that year, we of course had to give them back for the summer. And so it was like my mission to make sure that I had my own computer purchased by the time that first summer came around.
Yeah.
And so we were doing our soccer refereeing, which I think we talked about in a recent episode.
We did.
And it was like, that's exactly, I saved all of my money to buy a Dell PC.
Wow.
And
dude, you're getting a Dell.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
That was such like a popular ad for a long time. Raise your hand if you remember the dude you're getting a Dell.
Oh man, it's possible that no. Is it possible that somebody listening right now wasn't alive when that was a thing?
Oh, it's possible.
It's possible. Like we're talking like 2004. Well, it's weird. It's very possible.
Oh, whoops.
That's kind of upsetting.
It's too possible.
But the point is that so I got my first computer. And I remember that shortly thereafter, I would have turned 16, which meant I got my first job at the local Petland, which meant that I had my own income, which meant that I got my first debit card, which meant that I could buy things online. And that was like the whole runaround to this point in time. But like mom at this point in time, and again, possibly because dad was like a TV news reporter and internet was like, it's sort of still a fairly new thing.
Right.
She was so concerned that if you like bought something online that your credit card was just going to be stolen, and internet hackers the world over were going to use that to like just empty your bank account and steal your identity or something.
Right.
Hashtag internet stalkers. And so I remember like I would like order something online, and at that point in time it would take like, I don't know, 10 to 14 days to get to you, which basically mom had it in my head that I would like press down and I'm like, that's it. I just lost that money forever. It's never going to show up. And you had to wait such a long period of time to finally discover whether or not.
Oh yeah. Like there wasn't like instant email confirmation.
There wasn't instant email confirmation or yeah, just that like, you know, your money was out of your account and it wasn't 2-day shipping.
Right.
You know, so
you just had to have faith that product was coming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
what were you ordering?
I think parts for my car a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Is probably what it really was. And because it was also, I was buying stuff off of eBay from like individuals.
Oh,
which made it that much slower. Yeah. Oh, good times.
No doubt.
But we made it. Oh,
Actually,
once upon a time, this is actually a business model I've wanted to do so many times just because I actually think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
But do you remember the Something Store?
Oh, the Something Store. I do, because I made like a Jonkerlin video about it.
Oh, did you?
I did.
I actually don't know if I realized that. But yeah, so the Something Store in a nutshell is basically you pay them $10 and they send you something. And it's
that's it.
And that's it. And it's like they give you like some examples, and I think there's a very small amount of like lottery type stuff in there where it's like at this point in time, I think it was like best case scenario, you would pay $10 and they would send you like a Fossil watch or
like an iPod Nano or something.
Yeah, like the little like square. And so I'm sure from their perspective, you know, they could get 200 orders, and if one of them was one of those things, then they're technically fulfilling the potential chance.
Yeah.
But they're able to make the money back by all of the other people who they then send like a water bottle.
Right, yeah.
Or like a drawstring bag.
I'm pretty sure if I recall, when we ordered stuff from the Something Store, yes, I got a water bottle and you got a pashmina.
A gold pashmina.
A gold pashmina.
I remember that. And I was like, a what?
What is... It was such a perplexing item for you, a teenage boy, to get, that it was like... It didn't even know how to be disappointed.
I know.
Yeah.
And I feel like mom and dad... Like, I think they thought that it was the funniest thing that had ever happened.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they told the story. They were like, he bought something online. It was a pashmina.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, dad, I get it.
Oh man. Do you know? Yeah.
Like, yeah, anyway, I mean, that has been one of my business ideas before. It's just literally we just redo the something store.
We just redo the something store. We'll just send you something.
We'll say who's in.
It's probably worth less than $10.
It's probably worth less. I mean, that is how business works.
That's how it works, right?
Pretty much
Yeah.
everything you buy is worth less than what you paid for it.
Yeah.
That's a sad reality.
Yep, pretty much.
Anyway.
But that's how things operate and how people get paid and stuff. So, it all comes back.
Right, it's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Exactly. Anyway, the point is, I won the 6th grade history of contest.
As
with
you
my
should
history
have.
of Hot Wheels.
It was like it was really good.
It was really good. It was very good. We had it on VHS. You could plop it into the house. You could just learn about Hot Wheels.
We need to get a VHS to digital converter.
Yeah.
So that we can, because that would be such a fun special offer.
Oh my
or
gosh.
Patreon perk. It's
Yeah, does it still exist? Does the
It
history of Hot
has
Wheels?
to.
It's got to be at mom and dad's. Oh my gosh.
It doesn't seem like
we could relive my champion 6th grade history self.
I always remember you just saying mystery.
Yes,
car.
that was it. I had to go to the TV station with Dad so we could edit the video, and we had he had me write up all the voiceover and stuff, and then I had to read it. And I remember, there was one line. It was the mystery car that I really hit the on.
Oh yeah,
And that was the family quote to obviously till this day because Ben still remembers it.
Still. This is one of those things where it's like, hey, it'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Just give it a couple
how's
weeks.
your pashmina?
We'll get past it.
No one's gonna remember. No one's gonna remember. No one's gonna know.
They're gonna know.
How are they gonna know? Because someone knows. Oh my goodness. So Ben, before we skate past anything else here,
Okay.
we mentioned you getting the computer in your room.
Yeah.
Which, if I recall, was largely used, one, to chat on AOL Instant Messenger. That should be a bingo square if it's not already. But also to play Diablo 2, which I'm pretty sure is also a bingo square.
That is exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had two objectives, it was them.
It was
that
them.
was it. That was it. So hard stop. It's not even funny.
Right.
My computer had two icons on it.
Yeah.
Like aim,
Aim,
and Diablo 2.
Well, so this past week, Diablo 2 Resurrected was released.
It was.
Which is the game that, if I am not mistaken, you have been waiting for literally since you bought Diablo 2.
Yeah. I think it's probably been not even probably. I think that I will turn. Wow, this is kind of unbelievable. I will turn 32 on October 25th, and Mom did not allow me to play Diablo until I was 12.
Oh, okay.
And so literally 20 years.
Wow.
And
Gonna
it's like,
come out.
yeah. So it's like, I'm like a month away from turning 32, and
Here it is.
20 years ago today, I couldn't play Diablo 2 yet.
Yeah.
Oh man. So anyway, yeah, it came out, and I would say the slightly disappointing portion of it is that I haven't been able to play it yet.
Ben, how is this possible?
I don't actually.
This is like your whole thing.
I know. I think if I were to really truly go inside of my brain psychology, I think what's actually happening is I am so afraid it's going to disappoint me.
There's no way.
It's I think that this is the case. I have this problem with so many things where it's like I'll be so excited, and then it's kind of like, I can't do it. Because if I do, then, and it's sad, then it's like, then my 20-year dream will be gone. And how do I handle that?
I think it really is a 20-year dream, because I think when we got into Diablo 2 for the first time as kids, we were already on the tail end of it.
I believe you are absolutely correct.
It was already dated when we got to it.
Yep.
And from the moment we logged in, I was like, this is super fun and I love doing it and I will spend tons of time doing it, but I do wish it just ran a little better and had kind of better graphics. And it was there was always the promise of Diablo 3, which if you didn't live through waiting for that was...
And that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Is that I was so excited for Diablo 3 because all I wanted was Diablo 2, but with better graphics.
Right.
And then they gave us Diablo 3. And you want to know what happened?
It wasn't Diablo 2.
It wasn't. And I was disappointed.
Yeah. So instead, though, it seems like Blizzard realized that people wanted Diablo 3 forever. They made it. And Diablo 3 is a perfectly playable game. It's very fun. Unless what you want it to be is Diablo 2 with better graphics, which it is not.
It is not.
Yes. Which I think was the main disappointment, because I think that's what everyone wanted. So Blizzard was just like, okay. We're we're gonna make Diablo 2 with better graphics. Go.
Yeah,
And they did it, and
we-
it is finally here.
Can we put 4 people on that? Can we spare 4 people?
Yeah.
And
I think there is a button you can press that will change the graphics to the old graphics too. So you can still play it nostalgia mode or whatever.
Nostalgia mode.
Yeah.
That is honestly I'm glad that they did that. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
That is fun.
I was actually blown away when I originally saw the trailer for it because they were cutting so perfectly between them. And I was like, I'm actually sort of impressed. Like, despite the fact that this is like a legitimate, super professional game company, like, I was like, I'm sort of impressed that you're able to like line these up so perfectly. Like, you must have had to like walk to the exact same spot in that field and cast the exact same spell. And like, they showed it with like every character class. I'm like, this is kind of unreal.
Yeah.
Like, how are you doing this? And it must have just been like taking the filter off and on.
Yeah, basically.
Wow. So it is exactly the same.
So it can be just about exactly the same. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm excited to hear. I will say that I have played it some.
And I'm gonna love it.
I think you will enjoy it because as far as I can tell, it basically plays the exact same. And I don't even think they've done like balance updates to the characters or anything.
They will. They will. They'll
Yeah,
get there.
I feel like they will, but otherwise, pretty much the exact same. It's very, very nostalgic thus far.
Okay. Well, as long as we're talking about psychology, I actually feel like there's like a sort of interesting. I had like a breakthrough about breakthroughs.
Oh,
Today.
Yeah.
Well, recently, in the past couple of days.
Okay.
Yeah. In recent days, it's not relevant how recent it was.
Yeah. Let's really nail it down.
Hold on.
Hold
Let me
on,
go to the
Grandpa.
exact- Do you ever have somebody who like gets really stuck on something that doesn't matter, and
Yeah.
they're like,
Oh my
"Wait,
gosh.
route 4, right? Route 4, route 3, 4,
Yeah.
3."
Yeah, we were driving up and it was how did we come up?
Should I look it up?
And it's just like
It's
is
Route
it-
4.
Yeah.
It's
Is it
Route
gonna matter?
7?
Yeah. It's like, is it gonna matter because you drove past something that's important to the story and we'll be able to fact check you and to be like, oh no, what happened was 3 days later. It's like, please skip this part.
Right. Yeah, it's like we don't need to be stuck.
Don't
here.
need to know
It's
the
like,
driving.
You could literally say that you traveled through like the Milky Way galaxy and got here, and it would still I'd still be fine.
Right.
I'd be like, I don't need any additional information
Yeah.
about your pathway to this moment. Okay, but here's the thing, because we've talked a fair bit about like mental health, like therapy, counseling, that type of stuff before, and I think that I saw a graph once upon a time that I thought was like just very useful to me as I sort of like stepped into this arena of like, you know, consulting and getting help for myself.
Yeah.
And I think my big thinking first is that I had a stigma against it, and I was kind of like, I don't need that. And then I finally was like, okay, maybe I need it. So I went. And I think that when I went, I really thought that like I was going to like sit down with like the, like, you know, psychiatrist from like House, the TV show. And they were going to be like, listen, this is exactly what's going on with you. You're doing these 5 things. It's all completely routine. Here's your like explanation. Go, you know, like you don't have to go on like an ongoing basis. Like you go in and there's a person who can like completely understand your personality all at once and tell you how to fix everything.
Right. It's like, I see the obvious problems. Great news. I have strategies for all those things. Here they are. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, let me know if you ever need me again.
Yeah.
And so, but that's not the case. But that doesn't mean that there aren't breakthroughs. But the interesting thing for me is that I think that every single one of my breakthroughs, and I think that it really like came together in the past week for me, has been that they're all extraordinarily related to one another. And I think that that is the part that has been most interesting for me. So for a little bit of context here, I've been going extremely regularly for like a year and a half. And I have had 4 major breakthroughs in that period of time. And I think that they are all directly related to one another.
Oh, crazy.
And I'd like to talk about them, if that's okay. I don't think it's too personal.
I was going to say, well, it's your therapy and it sounds like a big personal breakthrough. So if this is water you feel comfortable wading into, then yeah, please share. But
Listen, Jay, no, I'm just kidding. Okay, so let me get my notes here because I want to be able to describe it correctly. Okay, so breakthrough number 1, I would say, was the difference between anxiety and nerves.
Okay.
Which I think was just a good thing to recognize. And I've talked about this before as I've talked about mental health in the past, but I think that forever I applied nervousness to things when it was actually anxiety.
I think I'm not, I don't even know that I wouldn't use them interchangeably, you know, on the daily.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Like, you know, I think that makes sense because they're similar enough.
Well, I think because you could feel anxious without necessarily suffering from like anxiety.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Absolutely. But like, I think there have been points in like my aquarium career where I've had to go and like give like a larger presentation for like a bigger client, and the like inability to like sleep for 2 days leading up to it. That was not me being nervous. That was like severe anxiety, and at points in time it was like it was very irrational in nature. Like there was no like warning signs, no problems. Like the client wasn't like upset with me in any way, shape, or form. They just wanted an update on how the tanks were doing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, what we haven't talked to you in a little bit. What's going on? You know, and so like when I went and gave the presentation, they all just had a bunch of questions about turtles and stuff, and they were like excited about it.
Right.
It was not a problem.
Yeah.
But what I put into my fears about it was that. And I'm not really even that troubled with like public speaking. So I think in this particular case, it's not nervous about talking to a group of people. It was anxiety about the particular situation. So anyway, for what it's worth, that would be like sort of the very quick example of the distinction as I read it.
Okay.
Okay. So there's that. One of the next pieces was this idea of being a people pleaser, which was something that I think was much more obvious to all of the other people who know me.
Oh,
and
right.
less obvious to me myself.
Right, because was it because like your self-perception was, or that your perception was that all people were this way?
I don't know that it was like such a hard belief that everybody did this. I just don't think that I had ever actually like stood back and been introspective about myself enough to compare patterns in my behaviors across a variety of different interactions.
Right.
And realize that there was this like central theme that was happening that was sort of like, no matter what, I didn't want to make somebody feel bad or uncomfortable. And frequently in doing that, it added some like layer of expense to myself.
Right.
Whether it be like failing to communicate how I actually feel about something.
Right.
And then therefore they're misinformed about where I'm at
Right.
in the situation. Or, I mean, this would be the type of thing like where, like if I was going to, you know, bill a client, you know, for some aquarium work very early on, and I was like, that'll be $50. And they were like, oh, 15. And they like wrote it down. It'd be like, I would not correct them.
Right. Like
You
they
know,
just got
like-
away with $35 of theft, basically.
Yes. And
Yeah.
not that they even meant to, they just misheard me. But to me, I was like, they misheard me by too much to go from 15 to 50.
It'll be
Like-
disappointing to them.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
They'll be mad at me. It's
And,
like,
and in my mind, it's like I'll take the hit because it would cost me more in like my emotional turmoil to correct them than the $35.
wow.
You know?
Yeah.
Like and that
That's like debilitating people pleasing a little bit.
exactly. Yeah. And I think that is like a real example. Like
Yeah.
that's not
Like,
me.
that
just
happened.
Like, right. Yeah. That is a real thing. And so I think this being brought to my attention was very useful. And as you start to like put those pieces together, it's sort of like, oh, okay, so a portion of what's going on here is exactly like you said, like they're going to be mad at me for 50 instead of 15. Like that is anxiety.
Right.
Like,
Okay.
Like, you know, like the person mishearing this particular situation, like doesn't necessarily change the value of the service that I did.
Right.
You know, so like that's one of those where I was constantly like living in this like very worried sphere of, if I say something like that, then this person is going to like write me off entirely. They will never come back and do work with me again. And that's not the case. Like,
Right, yeah.
It's a very honest misunderstanding. Like,
Right. Yeah, like people mishear things all the time.
Right.
Things cost what they cost. That's just the way it is.
Yes. Yeah. So, but like, you know, the amount of consequence, I think is the anxiety coming into that particular equation. The next thing that was brought to my attention is the idea of scorekeeping, which is something that
Scorekeeping, very dangerous.
it is very dangerous.
Yeah.
And this is the piece of the puzzle that I don't think clicked into place until my most recent breakthrough. So we're at 3 so far, which would be anxiety versus nerves, people pleasing, and then scorekeeping. And I think that what happened was the first 2 fit together nicely, and the third one I didn't quite understand like where it came into the equation.
Mm-hmm.
So scorekeeping is very basically the idea of like I took out the trash and walked the dogs and emptied the dishwasher. What did you do?
Right.
You know, like, or, you know, like if at that point in time it was like, can you go vacuum the living room? It'd be like, well, I did these things already, so maybe it's your turn. Like that would be
right.
Scorekeeping
Yeah.
is less to do with like, am I personally more available to go and vacuum the floor in this particular moment? And if the answer is yes, it's like, okay, well then it's like, you know, like
Right.
it needs to be done either way.
Yes.
One of us needs to do it.
Right.
It doesn't
You're on the
bec-
same team.
Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't become more your responsibility just because I've done other things. Like
Right.
that's not the way that pieces come together. And very frequently, I think that the issue with this was that people had absolutely no idea that I was scorekeeping because I am a people pleaser.
Right. So like if someone, like you gave someone basically a free $35 discount for nothing.
Yes, exactly.
Because you were afraid, because you want to keep them happy as a people pleaser.
Right.
But perhaps your scorekeeping brain then is like, now you owe me.
Well, it'd be that, or it'd be the type of thing where like if I had billed you just accordingly and then you called me later that night and you were like, hey, I think I'm having a problem. Like, can I run it by you real quick? And it's like, listen, you only paid me $15 for service today when it was supposed to be $50. I don't think you should be calling me at
Right.
9:00 at night. And it's like, it's not their fault. You didn't tell them
Right.
that they misheard you.
Yeah.
Like, you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like it's starting to come together. And that's a very like small, short window of time example. But the final breakthrough for me is something that is called problematic patience.
Okay.
And problematic patience, I think, is where all of it starts to ring together.
Okay.
So basically it's this idea of constantly being like almost being patient in a way that goes on for too long so that your brain is never being rewarded with like the positive outcome to a particular situation. And so typically this can show itself in a way that is like having a very, very long-term interaction with somebody constantly in hopes that eventually they will become the person that you want them to be, but also as a people pleaser, never communicating to the person the things that you want them to change.
Right.
But then all the while being tolerant of the things that they're not changing because you're not communicating to it, and then being frustrated on the whole.
Yeah.
Because all of this time has gone on where you yourself are carrying all of this weight.
Like you're aware of all the stuff that apparently you have been doing
Yes.
for them.
Yep.
And like, I've been waiting so long for you to like adjust to these things.
Yes, I've been giving you $35 discounts every service visit for the last 2 years, and you're like yelling at me because there's algae on the glass or something, you know, and it's like how can you be doing this right now?
Right.
And again, they don't know.
Right.
Like, you know, it's like to them they're paying the amount that you charge for your services
Right.
because you haven't corrected them.
Right. Exactly.
And so I think that this is like one of the big ones that I was able to maybe like pull into focus, and it's difficult in a lot of ways because the actionable reaction to this kind of discovery is like attempting to learn how to be like more of an advocate for yourself,
Right.
or like willing to speak up. And for me, the problem is I have no practice doing that.
It is a very weird thing when like that's the advice, because basically what it means is like you need to be like a little bit more selfish.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting that you have come to these conclusions over this series, over like, you know, a series of 18 months worth of therapy and like 4 different breakthroughs sort of coming together, and like you can very eloquently all put it together and like use real like concepts to describe it, because I think we've talked before about how Beth is also a people pleaser, like
Okay.
my wife.
Yeah.
And I remember like just sort of like maybe struggling with some of these things as well at some point. And I remember talking to her at some point, like before we were married, and having that similar conversation. Like, sometimes it just seems like I wish you were a little bit more selfish, which is a weird thing to say.
Right.
like
but it's true. It's
yeah,
true.
It was like you will never advocate for like your own happiness, and it's just like it's like problematic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And you know, the tricky thing about it is that it's like I think the underlying outcome of being a people pleaser versus someone who maybe has like a bad temper is that on the whole you are generally providing people with a rather positive experience with you, versus somebody who might more frequently raise their voice, might frequently be a little more rash or abrupt with their information. And so it's like, on the whole, everybody around you, and this is, I think this is the part that, like, as I try to like navigate out of these waters and stuff, it's that I am afraid that the expectation, what people have come to know about me, is so different from like implementing these like slightly more self advocating like, I don't know, interjections, if you will. You know, it's sort of like, if all of a sudden I do that, people are like, whoa, what's wrong?
Well, it's
like,
different with Ben all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's like, you can't hike your prices by $35 at once. And it's like, I'm not hiking my prices. It's always been that way. But, oh man, I'm so glad we thought of this example, because I feel like it's helping me explain.
Right, exactly. Do you feel like I feel like maybe what you need is like just like a catalyst for change that would make outwardly it obvious that Ben is going to be acting a little bit differently now because of obviously this thing that happened.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Like, okay, so for example,
I see what you mean, like an opportunity for the change to exist.
Right. So for example, like when I graduated college and when I first got hired at the concert venue I used to work at, bingo.
Nice. Yeah.
You're welcome, people. I remember before then, I didn't like style my hair ever at all. Like, it was just always down. It was always very shaggy, and I didn't wear glasses. At all. And I remember like, okay, I got this new job. This was like an opportunity to like reinvent like how I look. And so I that's when I got like glasses, and I became a full-time glasses wearer, which I needed to do anyway. It wasn't like, oh, do you not need glasses? Like, I can see pretty good without glasses either way, but I definitely benefit from wearing them all the time. And I started like styling my hair and stuff. And I think I started buying new clothes, and I remember just going out with friends I had known forever, and it was like they noticed the change. That was obvious. But it was also just like no one questioned it, because it was like, oh, I see what you got a new job. You grew up.
You became an adult.
You became an adult. Look at this. And it was like, okay, now it was just done. So
I need a drastic. To like just like shave my head or something.
No, I don't think that.
Do you think full body tats?
You know, I feel like I don't think you need to like change your appearance.
Well, I mean, you know, so far
I'm saying you need like a big life event to happen where people couldn't like, or people would obviously understand a slight personality shift.
Do you think that becoming a father might?
I think this is going to work out wonderfully. I also think you're going to really get to put your problematic patience to the test with your child, because, man, if there's anyone I am super willing to be way patient, way too long for, it is my kids.
Yeah,
I'm just like, no, I'll just keep being super nice to you, and you will realize how nice I'm being. And it's like, that's not going to happen.
This is 100% the case, because with our dog specifically, I will be sitting like, you know, like eating lunch or something on the weekend, and like one of the dogs will just be sitting next to me like wanting food, and they will just be barking at me, and like Alice will like come down from upstairs where she was doing something and be like, how long has he been barking? And I'm like, oh, I didn't even notice. Like, and it's like, it's not that I didn't notice, it was just like, well, if he's barking, then he must, you know, he's just expressing himself.
Right.
Like, I gotta let him do it.
You need to let him bark.
Yeah, I mean, like he'll understand that I'm being patient with him, and at some point in time he'll know that it's not necessary to bark anymore.
Right.
You know, that like and I think that that's probably like the case. And then, like, you know, Alice is like way better at dog training because she's like willing to be like firm with the dogs.
Right.
And yeah, now I'll just let him sit there and bark at me. So yeah, I'll work on it. This is like my greatest fear going into fatherhood, is I'm like, I got to be able to like figure out
I'm sure
when to act.
I have no doubt that you're going to be a fantastic father.
Thanks, buddy.
No doubt at all.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've gotten kind of deep for a while. I think maybe we could take like a hard left turn into some very silly stuff.
Oh, I love it.
Okay.
It's time.
It's time. It is time. Well, okay. So in the last episode, we revealed the the Super Carlin chat bot was created for us, where you can log on and chat to an artificial intelligent version of me and Ben.
Yes.
That is loaded with all the intelligence of 93 episodes worth of popcorn culture.
Yep. So basically the AI was able to listen to all of the episodes, kind of like come to understand the way that we talk about things, which, you know what I'm starting to learn is that I use way more words than is necessary to say literally everything that I say.
You probably, that sentence like intentionally long?
It wasn't even.
Yeah.
I say too many words.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm done.
You're done.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think it's funny because one, people have been sending us responses all week, and not a single response has failed to not make me laugh. Like that was a pretty wordy sentence too. Every single thing people have sent me has made me laugh. It has been
agreed.
Yeah.
No, honestly though, I really do. I agree. Like, because a bunch of people have emailed into like the popcornculturepod@gmail.com email address with many of these. And it is like both outstanding what people ask and what the outcomes are.
Oh, I know. I love what people have been asking. Yes. And the outcomes. So I was just gonna read a few here.
Give me some examples.
I'll give you a few. Oh gosh. What am
because
I doing here?
if listening to Jay randomly cackle from the other side of the office has taught me one thing, is that it literally never gets old. Like I'll be like, what are you laughing at? He's like, I'm still doing the chat bot.
I think it is. I think we are uniquely positioned for it to be extra funny to us because it's our answers.
Yes.
That are apparently created from our psyche on some level.
Yes. Well, okay, here's the other funny thing about this too, is I feel like if you did like Q&A types of things all the time, and then you were to like ask it, like, you know, if I were to be like, if someone said like, what is 2 + 2? And I said that the answer is 4, then I feel like the AI is smart enough that if those questions and answers were paired up, then you could say, what is 2 + 2? And it would say 4, because it had listened to us talk enough to actually know what the answer to that question is.
Yeah.
And what I think is hilarious about this is that because we don't do that Q&A style, that format, it's like it is trying its darndest and failing adorably.
But yeah, it fails adorably or is correct in the most roundabout hilarious way. So I'm already laughing. For example, this was a great question. I'm sorry if I should just been taking screenshots and I don't always have the person who initially asked the bot. So I'm sorry if you asked this and I'm not going to give you credit. But this was the question. This is the first one. It says, are narwhals real? And the bot responds, probably not. But I love the concepts of narwhals personally. So let's say they are then. I love the first one. Probably, but probably not.
It's also, I feel like it perfectly sums up how you felt about narwhals, like since the entire narwhal joke began.
Oh my gosh,
which is
I
like,
know.
Are they real? I think so. But also, maybe not. It's like non-committal both ways.
Exactly. Probably not. But I love the concept of narwhals.
My grand conspiracy theory is that National Geographic is just literally just trolling.
Well, that was the initial conspiracy, right?
Okay, yeah.
Like anytime you really, and they're probably real, probably, but also so easy to fake.
Can you trust wildlife photographers?
Probably not. Probably.
Shrug.
We're all in this, you know. We're all.
Give me another one.
Okay. This is. Where should I place my GMA sticker? It says, go for the sides of your monitor. That way, if anyone looks over your shoulder, they'll see you're watching Game of Thrones. Not that should give away that you're watching Game of Thrones, you know.
It's the final little taglines.
I know.
So, you know.
It's like I think what happens a lot is that it wants to keep going, but it has like a character limit. So if you get like halfway through a sentence and it just like.
That's it.
And yeah.
Okay. What else you got?
Okay. Someone asked it a corny joke. Are you ready?
Yep.
Corny joke? Where do carrots come from? Where? The Alps. We're doing a ski race there. It's not a corny joke at all.
It is not funny, but somehow that makes it funny.
I love it when it's like a 2-part, like there's a follow-up question because the bot just treats it, I think, as a brand new question. It's not like continuing the conversation.
Right.
But it makes it seem like it's just switched gears into a new conversation topic at like rapid speed without you expecting it. It's like, that is how we talk.
It's true.
Yeah.
It is the entire format of this show.
So this was one, I think, aimed at hopefully it thought the bot was being you. It said, "Are you going to start a vlog channel?" The bot responds, "We've talked about getting into videos eventually, getting into scripted edited videos. If it were to happen, it would be 2 to 3 years down the line."
I hate when I can hear myself. It's like, yep. This is me attempting to like I always, again, this is people pleasing at its core, and it's like I don't want to say no.
Yeah.
So it's like eventually yes, probably, maybe.
Yeah.
2 to 3 years from now.
Yeah.
If and when we can do this.
Yeah. Do you dream in color? Ben dreams of color. Jay sleeps more soundly without. Not dreams in color, dreams of color.
It's like instead of having like white noise, like audio at night, it's like having like white color doesn't sound like the right way to say it, but like literally just passive colors that help you sleep at night.
Yeah.
And it's just like pulsing through like the colors of the rainbow. Are you pulling it up?
I have more saved on over here.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Multiple devices to
I
store all
know.
these.
I had screenshotted some on my phone, so they were in the photos there, and then I also have. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to go into the Reddit app.
Oh no.
What's your favorite hobby? We're pretty obsessed with ninjas, so we're working on a Ninja Fighting the Mafia series right now. Recently, we've been getting into adult coloring books and adult coloring pages, so we might try to do some. Like, before I answer your question,
I love
we've been really getting into ninjas.
Ninjas versus Mafia, which sounds like a great plot line.
Right?
You know, it's like there's not enough of those types of stories anymore. But also, while we're on the topic, coloring books.
Yeah.
Can we be in on that?
Adult coloring books? That's what we need, is the popcorn culture adult coloring book.
Yes.
Yes.
I think that could be really good.
That sounds like a great object we could create. We could put into real life. Popcorn culture adult coloring book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems reasonable.
Okay.
Would it be like paint by colors, or is it just colors by colors?
No. It's just like really detailed. Have you seen like adult coloring books?
I have
Okay.
seen it.
Yeah, so it's just like hyper detailed. It's gonna take you forever to color in the whole thing.
Does it come with colored pencils?
I think you had to buy separate colored pencils.
What?
I mean, do you think we should sell the colored pencils?
I think we probably should if we're gonna do this.
Okay, I guess. Okay,
I'll call up Big Pencil.
Yeah, you're gonna talk to Big Pencil over there.
My understanding is that they are currently located in the state directly above us.
Currently located. That was a popcorn pun.
I was also making the joke about Pennsylvania.
Oh. Sorry. This next one is about popcorn, so I thought I'd throw in a popcorn pun. Someone said, "What kind of popcorn is the best?" And we responded, "Light, airy, buttery kernels or thick, giant, crunchy kernels that snap into candied sugar. We won't stand for butter-flavored oil pretending to be real butter. I'm sorry. I say oil can endorse butter."
Oh my gosh.
We got real political.
I am pretty sure that wasn't a bot. That was just you.
That was the strongest opinion about the weakest of things.
Yes, absolutely. Which is your like MO.
We won't stand for butter flavored oil.
We will not.
No,
Get
out of here.
I feel like we could make like a really interesting series of like campaign speeches that are all auto generated.
Oh my god!
But then like get up there like in a suit and like actually like, we will not stand for big oil.
For big butter oil.
Ugh.
Oil, butter flavored oil. For popcorn.
For popcorn. Okay. As we close out today's episode, I would like to offer up my Wick of the Peak.
Oh, your Wick of the Peak. Go for it.
Did I do it correctly? I feel like spoonerisms are my jam, and this one just gets me.
Yeah, the Wick of the Peak.
It does.
You're
it
good.
Does. Okay. So my Wick of the Peak is creamer before coffee.
Creamer. Oh. Yes.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of creamer before coffee.
This has been like, it actually came as like an odd hack that I figured out while I was having the kitchen renovated for such a long period of time.
Yeah.
And all I had was this tiny little like mini fridge that all of my stuff was in. And so and I didn't have like a way to like wash dishes. I didn't have like a sink other than like my upstairs bathroom. So I really didn't want to like dirty anything that I didn't like excessively.
Yeah.
So what I started doing is I use like a small amount of, I call it a splash of creamer.
Splash.
And that's how I take my coffee. Splash of creamer and coffee. And for what it's worth, a splash is a small amount.
Yeah.
I don't know if a splash comes across. You're going to have to let me know. Does a splash sound like a lot?
I think it's like,
Yeah. It's sort of like the amount that would come out in like a very quick like tip.
yeah. Whoop.
You're just like
Whoop.
tinting the coffee. But what's kind of cool about it, and especially if you like sometimes feel like you're over pouring or under pouring or anything like that. If you pour the creamer into the bottom of the cup and then you pour the coffee on top of it, then as it fills, you basically like a splash of coffee would be like, basically like just pure 50-50. It's pretty much still white in color.
Yeah.
But then as you fill up, it progressively gets darker. And then if you get to the point where you're like, this is the exact right color of the coffee that I want, then it's like you just stop there.
It offers you way more control because the thing about creamer is that it pours out so smooth that it is very difficult to know how much creamer is coming out of the bottle at any given point.
True.
And it doesn't mix instantly when it hits the coffee, so you have to wait until you stir it to find out what your end color is going to be.
Right.
But if you pour the creamer in first, it does mix instantly because it's such a smaller amount of cream, and you can just stop right away.
Exactly.
This is a fantastic idea. This is a great coffee hack.
Thank you. Yeah. So this is what I've been doing, and then you don't have that like one spoon. And I mean,
Yeah.
this is guy guaranteed
That one
people are
spoon.
guilty of it. But you set it right next to the sink, like right on the edge of the sink.
Yeah.
You just set it there. It's like, and it leaves like a small little like coffee residue mark.
Yep.
And it like, yeah. So anyway, that's been like my big thing. And it was like once I got out of renovations, I was like, I still just do this anyway now.
Yeah.
So
It's just a good idea. It gets less dishes dirty and gives you a better end product.
exactly.
So-
Greater sense of
Hey,
control.
can I tell you my coffee hack?
Yeah.
This is like one where I feel like everyone knows, but it turns out I don't think everyone does.
Oh, okay.
And this is for to-go coffee.
Okay.
Okay. Ready? So when you're at Starbucks or anywhere and you're ordering a to-go coffee and you have a paper cup that you have to like fasten the lid to.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you're going to want to do, what my problem with paper cups was forever is that it seemed like there was about a 10% chance it was going to leak.
Oh, I would
when
say more than 10%.
more than 10% chance.
Yes.
Well, then I will give you, there is a way to put the lid on that will make it a 0% chance.
What?
That it will not leak. And all you have to do is on the paper cup, find where the seam is and put the opening that you're going to drink of exactly across from it. So the seam is what creates all the leak problems.
The leaks.
Yes.
And so it's like if it's facing away and you tilt the beverage towards you, then
Yeah.
the leak spot is facing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Do people know this?
This is the thing.
Did you learn this?
I figured this out on my own. I learned this independently.
Jay.
Because
I feel like you're going to shatter some minds
like,
with this one.
it will never leak again. Never.
Mind blown moment.
Yeah.
Mind blown moment. That is very interesting.
Oh, let me say this. Follow up hack. Put the lid on. Set the whole cup on a surface. Grab the lid from the top, like with your whole hand, and try and lift the whole cup. Because another problem with putting to-go lids on to-go coffee cups is that it's very easy to not
Get it.
press it down appropriately. But if you just give a quick lid test, it will pop off if it's weak in any spot.
Okay.
So just do that. And if you can lift it by the lid like that, you're good.
Okay.
But anyway, otherwise, yes, make sure the seam is as far away from the opening of where you're going to drink out of as possible. And I promise you, it will not leak.
I'll be honest. I think I'm Team Jazzy J this week. What a pro tip. What a pro tip. Guys, speaking of,
Yeah.
Just a reminder, we got some really cool stuff going on over at Patreon right now.
We sure do.
We've got our Q3 hoodies are available up until October 15th if you want to go and check those out. We will have a design very soon, but in the meantime, the design is going to be a lithograph of the Element of Surprise episode of Popcorn Culture, which is all of the words we spoke in that particular episode. And then inside of the negative space is going to be the words pop, pop, which will also be the first piece of Popcorn Culture apparel ever.
That's true.
We've never had any.
We have not.
So if you want to get in on that, you can do so at the Buzziest B or Jazziest J tier over at patreon.com/popcornculture. Also, the Q4 piece of merch is going to be available anytime after this episode airs, which is October 1st through December 31st of 2021.
Yes.
And that is going to be a pressed vinyl record that is glow in the dark with an exclusive episode of Popcorn Culture on it. Cannot be heard anywhere else.
Can only be heard by finding a way to play your vinyl record.
Exactly. And I wish you luck in your quest. Again, it's going to be patreon.com/popcornculture. Otherwise, if you have any feedback about the show today, you can email that over to popcornculturepod@gmail.com. Otherwise, we are on Twitter and Reddit. All of the links to all of those things in the show notes of today's episode. Otherwise, until next week,
Pop, pop.